Hello students, I am Deepak from Mining Engineering Department. I am working as Assistant Professor in Amet University. In today's lecture we are going to talk about mining method selection, and the course name is Advanced Surface Mining. So in this lecture we are going to briefly talk about what is mining and what is the role of mining engineers, and then we will talk about feasibility studies, and finally we will conclude with mine reclamation. So to start with, what is mining? Mining is nothing but whatever mineral that is available on Earth's surface. If you are going to dig it and sell it for a profitable value, then we can call it as mining. Say for example, in construction industry, the main thing is sand. So even if you are going to dig the sand, and if you are going to sell it for a profitable amount, that is called as mining. In depth we will talk about what is assay and gang in terms of mining. So with the very first term, assay. What is assay? In mining, according to this definition, as we can see, the relative quantity or percentage of ore mineral or metal content that is available in ore body is called as assay. Assay has many other terms: assay, grade, or tenor. So the quantity, actual percentage of metal that is present in the ore body is called as grade. For example, when we say coal, it has 4 different grades. The grade is, when we say coal, it is mainly used for burning, so it produces heat. So based on the heat content of the coal, it is graded as, classified as anthracite, bituminous, peat and lignite. So anthracite has high energy content, whereas on the other hand, peat and lignite has the low energy content. So for gold mines, based on the average gram per ton of gold that is present in the ore body, it is called as grade. So for each and every mineral, the grade differs. So for iron ore, when we say it has to be at least 50 to 60% of iron content should be present in the ore to make it economically profitable. So in 1000 kilogram of iron ore, there should be at least 600 to 700 kilogram of iron content should be there in order to make it economically profitable. So coming to the next thing, gang. So what is gang? Gang is nothing but, according to this definition, gang is the commercially worthless material that surrounds or closely mixed with unwanted mineral in the ore deposit. So how it differs from overburden or tailing? So when we say overburden, it is completely waste. It does not have any economic mineral in it. We will be completely stripping off the overburden in order to reach the actual ore body which contains the ore mineral. On the other hand, when we say tailing, tailing is nothing but the reject or the waste from the mill plant. So tailing will be maximum, it may be having around 6% or 5% of metal content in it, because recovery can't be 100% in a mill. So it will be having a very small quantity of economic mineral, but it won't be actually economically profitable in order to mine it. So from this slide you can clearly say what is the difference between assay and gang. So in this slide we can clearly see that what are the main different typical mining cycle in order to start a project. So there are 5 main stages in this project: prospecting, exploration, development exploitation, and finally reclamation and closure. So to start with, what is prospecting? Prospecting is nothing but just from the surface, without even going to the site, from the aerial photography or just on mainly based on the outcrop of the mineral, we can easily say that there is a particular ore deposit that is found below ground. So prospecting is nothing but discovery of mineral deposit just by visiting the surface. So prospecting and exploration is mainly done by geologists and geophysicians just on aerial photography, or they will do magnetic survey. So based on what type of ore deposit they are finding, say for an example iron ore deposit, it can be found by magnetic survey or resistivity survey just from the surface without even digging a hole, or easily they can find it. So that is prospecting. So then comes exploration. So once we found that there is a particular mineral deposit found below earth, so next stage is exploration. Actually they will start drilling or digging hole in order to gain what is the shape, size and geometry of the ore deposit. So all this information can be done in exploration, and final in the exploration they will be doing the diamond drilling, where they will be obtaining the core samples. From the core samples, the exact amount of metal content which is found below the earth can be easily predicted, and the size, shape of that ore body can also be found using this exploration once they finish the exploration stage. So once the prospecting and exploration stage are finished, then comes the feasibility report. They will prepare a feasibility report, and they will say whether the project will be economical or not, and they will then goes to the development stage. So in this development stage, as you can see, mineral right acquisition. So they have to get permission from the government that they will be allowed to mine the particular ore deposit by sanctioning. They will submit environmental impact assessment, and they will put plan regarding construction of access road, surface facilities, access to the ore body. So all these stages will be done in the development stage. And the fourth stage is exploitation. So exploitation is nothing but actual digging of ore deposit in order to send that ore body to the mill. So in this exploitation stage, it consists of excavating the ore body, which is surface or underground mining method. So in this exploitation stage, they will choose whether either to choose surface mining or underground mining. If the deposit is going to be near the surface, and if they are saying that they can use huge equipments, if they are requiring high production rate, then straight away they will go for open pit mine. Whereas on the other hand, for underground mine, if they want to selectively dig only the ore deposit which is present at a depth of about 1 kilometer or more, then they will choose underground mine. And finally, once we have completely exhausted all the ore deposit, then finally comes the reclamation and closure stage. So in this reclamation and closure stage, what the engineers do is they will try to bring back the land back to its original form. They will try to bring back, since they can't bring it to 100%, but they will at least try to bring it back to a land which is usable or in a safe manner for humans to come and walk around it. So as we know, mining is a really old occupation, and carbon dating has shown that mining has been done nearly around 40,000 years ago, because as human beings they used to use the minerals for preparing weapons, for the basic needs, the very basic needs. So that's why then came the Bronze Age, Iron Age, Copper Age. So the dependence of human on minerals gradually grown, and in the recent trend, because of the modern era, human completely depend on whatever minerals that is available on Earth's surface. So even though it's a really old occupation, what is the main role of mining engineers in this modern era? So mining engineers, what they try to do is they try to extract the minerals in a most safe and sustainable manner, so that it will be useful for the present generation and also for the future. So based on the definition, mining engineers ensure that the ground resources such as minerals, metal, oil and gas, it has to be extracted safely and efficiently. That's the most important thing. There should not be much waste in the mill or tailing dam. So they will try to extract maximum amount of minerals without disturbing the surface in a sustainable manner. So what are the other responsibilities of mining engineers? As we can see, assessing the feasibility and potential for any commercial benefit for new sites, and they will try to analyze the risk, and they try to reduce the risk. In China, even though there are so many mines, you have heard about so many accidents. That's mainly because of illegal mines where there is not many mining engineers. So mining engineers always try to find the risk, and they will try to extract the mineral in a very safe and efficient and sustainable manner. So, the fourth responsibility is planning, implementation, extraction system for safe extraction mineral, as I already told you. So, finally, mining engineers use specialized computer application to maximize planning and production. So, due to the advancement of technology and softwares, mining engineers can use the softwares to increase the production and efficiently use the mineral resource that is available below ground. So, now in this slide we will talk about feasibility report. So, what is feasibility report? Feasibility report is nothing but it's studying a situation and a plan to do something about it and then determine whether the plan is feasible or not. Say for example, we will have a project, and when we take a mining project, they will prepare the feasibility study and they will find out whether this mineral will be economical or not, whether the project is going to be a successful project or not. So, mining is all about mining the mineral and making some profit. So, after preparing the feasibility report, they will find whether it will be making some profit or not. In the second point, you can see that feasibility report answers the question whether the plan should be implemented by stating yes or no or maybe. So, yes or no is fine, but what is maybe? Maybe there is no demand for that particular mineral at this moment, but maybe in future there might be a demand for the material. So, in the feasibility report there will be a clear data stating that this should not be only recommendation, but the feasibility report should also provide the data and reasoning behind the recommendation. So, from the feasibility report we can clearly say that how much amount of profit it will make and how sustainable it is going to be the project. So, now what is the main content of the feasibility report? So, feasibility report mainly consists of 5 main topics: information on the deposit, information on general project economics, third is mining method selection, what sort of mining method, whether it is going to be open pit or underground, or even if it is going to be underground, what sort of mining method they are going to choose among the plenty of mining methods that is readily available. And the fourth stage is processing method. So, what sort of mill they are going to have, what sort of ball mill they are going to have. So, what are the costs associated with it? All the individual costs will be covered in capital and operating cost estimates. So, before starting the project they should provide estimates: how much is the project going to cost, what will be the present worth, future worth, what will be the cash flow in each and every year, how they are going to make profit, and they will also do sensitivity analysis, and then they will find whether the project is going to be successful or if there is going to be any environmental concerns associated with it. So, all these details will be provided in this feasibility report, and then next coming slides we will be talking in depth about what are the others. So, under this topic, information on deposit, we will be having 4 main categories, that is geology, geometry of the deposit, geography and exploration. So, what is geology? What is the geology of deposit? We will study what sort of deposit is it and under what condition it has formed, whether it is igneous rocks, plutonic rock, or what sort of rock that is associated with it, and based on that we can find what is the strength of the rock and what are the important parameters that will be required for the engineers in order to predict what sort of drilling equipments or what sort of blasting they can do. So, study of geology is nothing but study of earth surface and phenomenon. So, second thing is geometry. So, in this geometry, the size, shape and what sort of orientation it is for the ore deposit can be easily found, and all the data regarding wherever the lenses or wherever the pockets is. So, geometry is nothing but when we say coal deposit, it will be always in the tabular form. So, what is the thickness of the coal deposit, at what depth the actual ore deposit lies, will be shown in depth about the ore deposit in this feasibility report. And third is geography. So, what is the relation between the ore deposit and environmental conditions and the human will be studied in depth in this topic. So, when we say geography, certain minerals such as sulfides and environmentally reactive minerals will be there. So, all these minerals will be shown, and what are the impacts it is going to cause to the environment will be shown in this geography. And finally, exploration data. So, the basic structure, what depth the ore deposit occurs, everything will be found in exploration, and what sort of exploration technique they are using, mainly in order to get a clear information about the ore deposit, they will definitely go for diamond drilling, because they have to follow the JAR code. JAR code is Joint Ore Reserve Committee's guidelines that shows how the diamond drilling patterns has to be, and exact pattern will be given by the JAR code, and exploration data will be conducted according to that, and only then the feasibility report will be prepared and it will be submitted for further financial aid. The second one is information on general project economics. So, under this information on general project economics, we will be listing out what is the markets for the particular ore deposit, what sort of transportation we are going to use, utilities, land and mineral rights, water, labor, government consideration and financing. So, first, market. So, what is the demand for that particular material in the market, whether it is going to be increasing in the future or it is going to be decreasing in the future. Few years ago, there was a huge demand in China, mainly because of the boom of construction industries, during which Australia exported huge amount of iron ore to China, and there was a mining boom during which Australian dollars was pretty much equal to US dollars. But once the construction stage is finished, there was a drastic drop in the requirement of iron ore by China. So, many of the mining companies which started getting bankrupt, and mainly because of the sudden reduction in the iron ore price, mainly because there was no demand for iron ore when the China has finished the construction phase or when it finished the development phase. So, under this in this feasibility report for markets, they will be clearly listing out, and they will be doing the literature survey based on what factors the market is going to affect that particular commodity of mineral. Second thing is transportation. So, when a mineral is be demand in a particular country, and from the origin source to the destination, how far it is, what sort of transportation modes that are available, whether it is going to be waterways or it is going to be by ship or by railways, all these things will be listed out in this transportation. The cheapest mode will be either by waterways or through train. Third one is utilities and lands and mineral rights. When we come to land and mineral right, in Australia, Adani Group invested about $1 to $2 billion in order to start a coal mine, but Australian government didn't straight away give the mining right, mainly because they give preference to environment and the people who are nearby. So, the people and the environment, they raised a concern regarding the life of flora and fauna. So, straight away they rejected the project, and even though it cleared the feasibility report, but mainly because of the environmental concern, they could not start the project. So, that is why all these minute details will be listed out in this feasibility report. Fourth one is water. So, what is the water table, or if there is going to be any lake or anything nearby which might be affected by this mining project, all these things will be listed out under this topic, water. And labor requirement. So, if there is going to be if the mining location is near the populated area, or it is going to be in a distance area, so how easily the labor will be available for this project will be listed out in this. Finally, government consideration. Certain minerals such as strategic minerals, in this present era, everyone are towards electric cars, lithium ion batteries. So, lithium and iron, these are strategic minerals for India, mainly because of the scarcity of that particular mineral, and they are in huge demand because everyone are moving towards electric cars. So, that is why even though when there is huge demand, and even though the mine is not going to make much profit, still they will be mining, mainly because of government consideration, because they will be giving funds or grants in order to start the project. And finally, financing. So, how the finance for the project is going to be, either it is from a bank or private bank, or if they already have their own assets, or if the government is going to be doing some funding, all these things will be listed out in this financing. Under this heading, mining method selection, what sort of mining method, whether it is going to be open pit or underground, or how we are going to select the mining method is chosen based on n number of factors, which includes spatial characteristics of the deposit, geological and hydrological condition, geotechnical properties, economic consideration, technological consideration, environmental concerns, selectivity, pre-production requirement and post-production requirement. So, the first thing, spatial characteristics of the deposit. So, as I already mentioned, if the deposit is going to be near the surface less than 500 meters or less than 1 kilometers, they will try to maximum exploit by open pit method because it is not expensive and it is safe to do open pit method. Whereas if the deposit is going to be more than 1 kilometer depth, say for example in South Africa, there are so many mines which are about 4 kilometers depth and still they are mining it economically. So, such mineral deposit which has really high value, and mainly most of the deepest mines for diamond or gold mine. So, based on the spatial characteristics they will choose what sort of mining method they are going to choose. So, the second one is geological and hydrological condition. So, what is the water content in the particular area? There is going to be more water content, they are going to be having lot of problem in order to do underground mine, they will choose open pit mine. And third one is geotechnical properties. So, how hard is the strata? The strata is going to be hard, then of course we can go for underground mine. If it is loose or muddy soil, or if the properties are very weak for putting decline or shaft, then they will choose open pit mine, and after reaching for a 500 meters or 600 meters they will try to convert the open pit mine to underground mine if it is going to be economical. In economical considerations. So, economical consideration means what are the production requirement they have, whether they can invest a lot of money in procuring huge equipments such as big shovels and trucks and dumpers, they can choose open pit mine, or else they will choose for underground mine and they will slowly exploit the minerals. Technological consideration and environmental concern. As I already mentioned, open pit mine creates a lot of environmental concern because they are going to be doing deforestation, and the area which going to be under the lease area will be huge, and post mining will be a great challenge for the particular project. Whereas on the other hand, when it is going to be underground mine, very few facilities will be built on the surface, and mainly they will be disturbing the strata below the ground. So, they will not be from the surface, there will not be much distraction. When I say open pit mine, the biggest one is Canyon mine, and from the moon we can easily clearly visible from the moon. You can see that open pit mine, how much impact has created on the earth's surface can be clearly visible even from the moon. So, that is how impact is going to be creating on the earth's surface. And selectivity, when it comes to selectivity, open pit mine really gives less selectivity because we can't just selectively mine the ore deposit. We have to completely remove the overburden in order to reach the ore deposit and to mine it. So, selectivity is very poor in open pit mine, whereas on the underground mine only development stage will be in the waste body, whereas the complete extraction of selective extraction of ore bodies very possible in underground mine. And pre-production requirement and production requirement. So, when we say iron ore mine, most of the iron ore mine will be open pit mine because the production requirement will be very huge, and they will be digging millions and millions of ton every month. That's how high is iron ore mine. So, based on what sort of commodity, when it say gold mine, they will try to do selective mining. So, they will always choose underground mine because they selectively mine the gold veins, and then they will send the particular ore deposit to the mill for further production. So under this processing method, so what sort of processing method they are going to choose in the mill will be clearly explained in this feasibility report. So, under this processing method, mineralogy, what is the alternative process for the mineralogy will be studied, what are the recoveries that is available in the mill, and what will be the plant layout will be clearly given in this feasibility report. So, first thing is mineralogy. So, how easily the mineral can be removed from the gangue material, or how much micron it has to be in order to remove that particular economic valuable mineral from the ore deposit. So, the liberation size is the most important key factor that has to be noted in this mineralogy. So next one is alternate process. What will be the alternate process? If the more economic and cheaper way of extracting the particular mineral will be given in depth, and maybe in future there might be a better method which will be cheaper version. So the feasibility report which said no before might be actually more economical, mainly because of the technical advancement. So what are the alternative process? What are the suggestions if one material is going to fail? So what will be the alternate mining processing method that's going to be chosen, will be given in depth about in the alternate process. Third one is recoveries. So as I already said, when we say gold mine, the recovery will be about 90% to 92%, whereas on the other hand, when we say coal, it has to be about 98 to 100%, because there will be a small amount of shale that will be associated with the coal. Only small amount of waste has to be removed. So recovery will be more or less more than 95% for coal. So what will be the recovery for that particular ore deposit will be given in depth about in this thing. And finally, plant layout. So what sort of plant layout will be which has to be prepared will be given in this slide. So in this list, capital and operating cost. So what will be the capital and operating cost for this project? So under the capital cost, what was the exploration cost, what will be the mining cost, what will be the milling cost. So an average estimates will be provided in this capital cost, and operating cost is also estimation of what will be the labor cost, development cost, what will be the maintenance cost for the equipment, what will be the maintenance cost for running the project will be given. And in the under the mill cost, what is the cost per ton of milling the high grade ore or low grade ore or normal ore will be given in depth in this mill section. And finally, administration. So administration is nothing but overhead charges and irrecoverable social cost. So for mining companies, they have this social responsibility in order to do some activities for the society, such as they have to provide health facilities, they have to do certain amount of forestation plans, then other facilities such as parks has to be provided by this mining company, so that the people who are located in that particular location will be welcoming the mining project. So what is the cost associated with it will be clearly given in this feasibility report. So what is the main difference between feasibility report and bankable feasibility report? So same feasibility report, if you are going to submit it for to the bank in order to get finance for the project, then they will call it as bankable feasibility report. So what is the main difference between feasibility report and bankable feasibility report? So bank feasibility report is nothing but the same feasibility report which you are going to submit to the bank in order to get finance for the project will be given in this bank feasibility report. So the effort prepared for getting finance for the project has to be submitted to the bankers or financiers, that is called as bank feasibility report. So they will check what is the sensitivity of the project and how much amount of money or NPV it's going to make, what is the life of the project. If more the life of the project, it will be in the favor of the project. If the project life is less, they might be having a thinking in mind whether it will be profitable or not. So the bank is going to be deciding based on the feasibility report which you are going to submit, whether to go ahead or whether they have to provide finance for the project or not. So what is DPR? So detailed project report. So detailed project report gives all the breakup of the feasibility report parameters, such as cost of mining will be given in feasibility report, but in DPR the cost of mining category, all the breakup costs like cost for equipment, maintenance, all the breakup cost will be clearly given in depth about what are the costs associated with the thing. So at the end of DPR, no reader should have any doubt about the project. Everything has to be cleared just by seeing the DPR. So individual cost of each and every parameter will be clearly explained in this detailed project report. So under the mining systems, as I already said, there are two main types of mining system, that is surface mining and underground mining. As I already mentioned, surface mining is mainly considered only when there is the mineral deposit is going to be found on the surface or shallow deposits. Whereas on the other side, the underground mining will be chosen when the mineral deposit is going to be found very deep, more than 1 kilometers, or if they're going to be planning for selective mining of ore deposit, they will choose underground mine. So under this surface mining systems, we will be studying in depth about what is open pit mine, what is open cast and strip mine, quarrying and aqueous extraction. So open pit mine is mainly for metal deposits such as metallic and non-metallic ore deposits, and when there is a mass production is required. Whereas on the other hand, open cast or strip mining is mainly for coal mine, because in coal mine we can say it is also open pit, but what is the main difference between open pit and open cast? So in open pit, they will be doing, they will be just keep on extracting the ore deposit without any reclamation. Whereas on the other hand, since coal deposits are in form of tabular form, they will just remove the ore burden, they will extract the ore body or coal body, and then in the mined out area they will be putting out the waste dump, or they will try to locate the waste dump, and they will be simultaneously doing reclamation activity in the open cast or strip mining. So quarrying. So what is quarrying? Quarrying is nothing but dimensional mining such as marble or granite. So one of the key feature in this quarrying is that nearly 80 to 90% is just waste. Only 10% of the mined out granite, diamond, stone mine will be sold as profit. And finally, aqueous extraction or solution mining. Solution mining is mainly practiced when the mineral deposit is found near the seashore or alluvial deposit where already the rock is in the form of powder. So using any solution or using water, they will just mine the ore body and they will try to extract. And another thing about solution mining is that they will try to dig bore wells. The main bore well is called as injection hole, where the solution will be poured in, and there will be 5 extraction wells surrounded by this injection hole, and they will be leaching out the mineral by special solution, and then they will be extracting the mineral. So that is one of the key feature with aqueous extraction. Finally, we are going to talk about mine reclamation, which is the most important factor for mining engineers. What is mine reclamation? Land reclamation is the treatment of land, creating conditions for putting the land to its pre-mining use or other useful work. So in simple terms, what we can say is after finishing the mining engineers will try to put back the environment back to its original stage, even though 100% is not possible, but they will try to bring back to its original stage. So in the second definition, we can clearly see that a reclamation area, it should look attractive as well as useful for the humans. Third definition is reclamation process serves a binding agreement between management and government agencies. So it became mandatory in the recent scenario that you have to have a clear plan of reclamation before starting the mining company, because many of the mining companies during their operation they become bankrupt and they just leave the mining abandoned, making the place really unsafe for humans to roam around it. So that's why before even starting the mining, a certain portion or certain amount of money has to be allocated for mine reclamation in order to start the project. So however, there may be some changes in the overall life of the project, usually technical methodology. So even though there might be some changes, because in the beginning they would have planned a small pit, but in the due course due to the exploration activities they would have expanded. So even though the reclamation plan, which was planned for a small pit, has to be amended according to the new plan. So what are the main types of reclamation? Technical reclamation and biological reclamation. So technical reclamation is nothing but it includes backfilling of excavation, spreading of the subsoil and topsoil, grading of backfilling and waste dump. So technically this technical reclamation can be done with the help of just a dozer, a dump truck and shovel. It will be, and this process can be done maybe in 2 months or 3 months based on the size of the mine. Whereas on the other hand, when we say biological reclamation, it involves restoring the fertility and biological productivity of the disturbed land. So this phase takes around 3 to 5 years, because they are not only trying to bring back to its original stage, but they are trying to increase the fertility of the disturbed land, and they to try to plant some trees and make it look pretty good. And finally, during this favorable, spices are grown which depend on the climate, depth and nature of the topsoil, subsoil, local type of farm. So based on all these factors, biological reclamation is done. As you can clearly see, this is one of the biologically reclaimed area. As we can see, there are 3 waste dumps, and plants and trees have clearly grown on this waste dump. So this is a typical example of biological reclamation. And this is also another biologically reclaimed area where we can see that lawn has been grown, and they have started reclaiming the area, but still mining operation is still going on. And this is a typical example of technical reclamation where there is no involvement of biological. They have just using dozer, they have maintained the slope and height of the bench and created it look pleasant. So in this topic we have studied about different mining methods and what will be the feasibility report, what it consists of, whether to choose a mining project or not. All these factors have been studied in feasibility report. And finally we have talked about mine reclamation, and what is the main need for mine reclamation has been studied. Thank you.